In this episode, I'm talking to Ryan Bailey, Director of the Student Success Center, and Jamie Muhlestein, Associate Director of Student Success and Support at Utah Valley University. We are talking about how Utah Valley University's Student Success Center created student success specialist roles for recent graduates and upper-class students. These roles aren't just part-time student worker jobs. These are professional jobs that are part of a concerted effort to build closer connection and relationship with students. The student success specialists are helping out on a number of initiatives by texting and also sometimes emailing and calling students in their caseload for a variety of reasons. Everything from welcoming them to campus to checking in after a professor submits an alert, or to check in if the student hasn't logged into the LMS for a particular class to make sure the student actually enrolled. They've had wild success. Jamie shared a great anecdote at the end of the episode about how a student came up to her at graduation and thanked her for having student success specialist roles, saying that her particular student success specialist was integral to having her graduate. And then showing the student in her phone, which of course is the Success Center's text line, but the student didn't know that. The interactions were so authentic and so real. The student really believed that she was texting directly with her student success specialist. They have seen great success by incorporating students in their student success efforts and have developed a really great professional development program to help the students do so in ways that align with student success professional protocols. This approach is helping to build authentic relationships with students who really might need a hand during their college experience who might not otherwise ask for help. Our guest today, Jamie Muhlestein, currently serves as the Associate Director of Student Success and Support in UVU Student Success Center. With over 8 years in higher ed, she's an expert in student retention, data management, and helping students navigate their college experience. She's passionate about building relationships with those she interacts with and creating atmospheres where others feel a sense of belonging and have an opportunity to enhance their personal experiences. In her free time, she enjoys running, playing pickleball, and traveling the world. I'm also joined by Ryan Bailey, the Director of Student Success Center at UVU. He's spent the past 10 years in student success, retention, and first-year experience fields, focusing on enhancing student experiences and removing barriers to success. Ryan found his purpose and career during his own collegiate experience, and his motivation is helping others have the same great experience he had. In his free time, Ryan enjoys spending time with his family, reading, and enjoying the outdoors. Before we dive into my conversation with Ryan and Jamie, take a moment to subscribe to the show to stay up to date on the latest in data-informed approaches to student impact. And if you know someone who would really enjoy this episode, make sure you share it with them so that they too can enjoy the wisdom from our guests. Welcome to Next Practices, Ryan and Jamie. Thank you for joining us to share how your institution is helping students succeed during their college experience.
Thanks for having us. We're excited to chat about Utah Valley University and the great things that we're doing in our office and our department.
Great. Well, I think that's a great place to start. Can you tell us a little bit about Utah Valley University, its mission, who it serves, and your roles in it?
Yeah, I'll take the lead on that. So Utah Valley University, or UVU as we like to call it, is located in Orem, Utah. It's Utah's biggest public institution with an enrollment around 43,000 students. That includes a good amount of college, high school enrollment, and then undergraduate and some online students as well. Our institution serves a unique population in that it's a dual mission, an access mission. So it's open enrollment. Any student that applies can get in, but it also is a 4-year degree awarding institution. There's also some master's degrees and some other unique professional programs, dental hygiene. They just matriculated the first TA cohort through the system. So we really serve a lot of different types of students, very prepared, ready for academia, to folks that are looking for a chance to prove that they can do it and change their lives. So we work specifically in what's called our Student Success Center. It's an office that is based on supporting students broadly. we support first year students a lot, but we have access and ability to communicate and work with all types of students. Uh, I think I said it was called the Student Success Center. I don't remember, but I'm the director. Jamie, I'll let her introduce herself. Um, but we love what we do, and we think it's a great place to work.
Yeah. So I'm Jamie Mielstein. I am the Associate Director for Student Success and Support here in the Student Success Center. And my role is really kind of just helping manage our Student Success Center and the different programs that we have within it. Some of the programs we have a leave of absence program, which really helps students as they're trying to maybe take a leave of absence, as it is in the title, from the university, whether it's for academic reasons, for mental health reasons, for home life reasons. We have somebody here in our office that'll actually help them plan that out and plan their return. And then we have some tuition waivers that we are able to give out for students who are near completion. So we help with retention and completion in our office. And then we also just have a student success program, which houses our early alert system, our peer mentors, our student success coordinators, and really any student success coaching that you'd want to see is out of that student success program and out of our student success center, which is really fun to have and to be a part of. It's probably I would say it's maybe one of the most sought after jobs in higher education, to be able to just help students with anything and everything under the sun, of being able to just have a student come in, figure out what their needs are, and be able to help refer them wherever they need to go and be that mentor for them. It's a really fun, diverse job that we get to do.
Yeah, well, listeners know this, but you may not. I worked in higher ed student success for many, 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 many years and know that it's really powerful, fun, and also very impactful work.
Yeah.
I know that there are so many challenges in higher education, and they're always evolving and changing. So I wanted to talk about your particular institution and the students that you're serving. You are, like Ryan, as you said, serving a vast array of students at kind of all different places in their lives and their academic growth. What are some of the top challenges that you're seeing in your student population, or that your team is facing in an attempt to try to help students succeed in their college experience?
Great question, and Jamie can speak to some maybe data that's from our leave of absence program. But we do a survey for students who have left the institution, um, and not surprisingly, we see a lot of the same trends as we see across the nation. Oftentimes, finances is listed as one of the things paying for school, even though we do have some of the most affordable tuition in the state and the country. Mental health has obviously crept up. Mental health challenges, needing to take time to support that and work through some of those things. And then we're seeing things like fit with the university, or um, maybe my major's not there. Those types of things. We also track reasons why students leave through our LOA stuff as well. But we are also a commuter campus more than like a destination campus. UVU currently has an agreement with one housing complex to have kind of one building, sort of a student housing that we're working with. But otherwise, folks are coming from all over, a lot locally here. A lot of our student base is from the Utah Valley and Salt Lake Valley, but a lot of commuters. I mean, we have students that work in our office that commute from Salt Lake, so north of us, from down south in like Mapleton, south of Provo. And so I think that's a unique challenge for us, is like a connection and finding a piece of campus as well. Um, and then, yeah, I think the preparedness piece is interesting because our faculty have to be ready to teach again 4.0, 32 on the ACT, all the way down to, a 0.5 GPA, and didn't take any tests or placement tests. And so those are some unique things. Jamie, I don't know what you would add, but please do so.
Yeah, no, I just pulled up some of our data. I love data. So I pulled up some of our data from our leave of absence form that we have students fill out before they leave, like Ryan mentioned. And you may have already mentioned this while I was pulling it up, but part of our culture here is really religious, and part of that culture is taking that religious mission for 2 years. And so we have a lot of students who actually leave our university to go on a religious mission for 2 years and then return afterwards, hopefully return afterwards, right? So that's one of the biggest reasons that students are leaving our university right now. And again, just the other things that Ryan mentioned are finances, employment, mental health is one that's really starting to get bigger and bigger. You saw that lower on the list before, but it's slowly moved its way up that list. And I think probably that's the same with higher education all around, is that mental health aspect is being talked about more and is just a hard thing for students. So we have that. And then we also have transferring. So a lot of students will transfer out of our institution after being here for a little bit, maybe bringing up their GPA, because we are open access and open enrollment university. So they get their GPA a little bit higher, than they transfer out to maybe a different college that they want to attend after that. So those are those top reasons on our leave of absence form that students are saying they leave.
In the fall, I got the opportunity to watch you both present at our fall leadership workshop. And I know that you are doing all kinds of things to help ensure that your students can stay at the institution and then progress towards their goals and graduate on time. I'd love to have you talk a little bit about the work that you're doing. I know one thing in particular that is really been interesting, and I want you to talk more broadly than just this particular initiative, is that how you leverage your student staff to build connection with your students and ensure that students are getting connected to the resources and the help that they need. And I know you're doing that in a couple of different ways, that started with your early alerts and has evolved. So would you talk about that program for sure, but any other things that you're doing that you're finding, any other strategies that are really making a significant difference for your students, but also for your staff, and it making them more effective or efficient in their work in helping students as well?
I'll share one right out the gate and then turn the time over to Jamie for some specifics. But one thing that our division, our enrollment management division, did that I think really set us up for being able to do everything is a big audit of things that are holding our students back, our barriers. And one of them was holds. So they went through a process where they eliminated over 100 holds that students could have that barred them from registering, that barred them from taking those next steps, and found different ways if students needed to be held accountable for some of those things that didn't impact registration. And so that allowed us to be a little bit more free and open when we work with students, because we weren't running into like, oh yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. And then to Jamie's credit and some of our other committees and folks that work in our, we also worked with partnerships so that if we did run into those things, we had policies and procedures. So I think that's kind of where it started, was very much setting up a plan to navigate these barriers that we know students are going to face. So when they do tell us, yeah, I'm leaving because I can't pay for school, we're not running into, financial related holds, but we have plans of how we can communicate and navigate those things. Or, we work with a lot of students that are coming back, and Jamie and her team have been brilliant about a partnership with admissions to make the re-enrollment, the readmit process seamless. And so that was a big thing that we did. And then Jamie, if you want to speak to some of the more specific things that your folks are doing, I think you're the expert there. So
Thanks. Yeah, and to your comment of removing those holds, I believe they told us there were hundreds of students that had financial holds on their account for them owing less than $1 to the university. So because of that less than $1 amount that they owed the university, they had a hold on their account that prevented them from registering and possibly prevented them from coming back. And so that was a really, really cool thing that we did. Yeah, we've got tons of things that we're working on. We really try everything. And like I said, we have a really cool student success program within our department that gets to be able to be involved in all of these things. I know there's other universities that maybe some of their early alert systems and their student success systems are not as centralized. We're in a really cool place where we have a centralized student success center, and we get to say, hey, we are the main help center for anything you need on campus. And you can come to us depending, no matter what question you have, we have those partnerships with all those people on campus to be able to say, oh, we actually don't know that question, but we know who to go to for that and walk you over to that area. But we also have a lot of experience because we work with students on the day-to-day, and because we have those partnerships, we can easily answer some of these smaller questions you have, where you don't have to go to multiple places on campus, to go to the registrars, to go to the cashier's office, to go to financial aid, to then go to maybe Trio or whatever it is and try and ask all your questions. Our campus is pretty big. We have a big student population. That's a lot to do. So we're able to just, hey, we are this main student success center. Come to us. We will help you with your needs, no matter what they are. We'll get you to where you need to go, or we have the answer for you. Part of that, what we like to say, and I believe Ryan actually is the one that initially came up with this idea, is we like to be it's kind of like a dentist office. You go in, the first person you see at the dentist office is this dental hygienist. They're going to clean your teeth, and they're going to do all these basic things for you. Then if you have cavities that need to be filled, that dentist is going to come in and double check the work and make sure that they fill those cavities, right? So we don't do the work of those other areas, right? Financial aid is there for a reason. Advisors are there for a reason. Everybody's here for a reason, but we can help with that dental assistant work. We could come help clean the teeth a little bit. Hey, when does FAFSA due, right? How do I fill out a FAFSA? Those are easy questions we can also answer. And then once it gets into like, well, what if I have some unique parent circumstances on the FAFSA? We say, oh, great question. Let's walk you over to financial aid. But it helps the student, like I said, only have to come to our office or to go to a lot less offices. And it helps our financial aid office with their intake of students coming in. They get so busy and they have so much influx of students walking in for some of these small questions. We can kind of help carry that burden a little bit more. And it just helps both people. And I think that's something really cool that we have, like I said, is just that centralized space. What you mentioned is our student success specialists, and they are super awesome. We have 9 student success specialists here that are part-time employees. So it's a job that is a part-time job, not just a student job, but they are all recent or current students at UVU, which is really cool. So that is where that peer mentorship kind of comes into play. So these are students who are reaching out with the student success outreach. And when they're talking to the students who are in need, it's a lot of that peer guidance of, oh, hey, yeah, I also had that professor. This is kind of what I found here, or I'm in this degree and this is what I see here, or I actually did this and it works. Those are really cool responses that we see from our students. And we have all of those full-time employees as well. We have some student success full-time coordinators that are a little more of kind of in the same realm, right? Maybe a little more of that dentist area, more of that expertise area for those students. But these peer mentors are honestly probably the best work that we're doing out of our office. Of the amount of students they reach out to with that peer guidance really makes a difference. They are the ones that respond to our early alert system. So we use the Civitas platform to house our early alerts, and all of the faculty on campus have access to the Civitas platform through our learning management system, which we use Canvas for. So within their course, when they're grading and everything there, they actually have a link to the Civitas system and to our early alert system, where they can just click it in there. All of their students pull up and they can go through and say, this student has maybe below average in the course, or this student I haven't seen in weeks, or this student is just acting different than themselves and I'm worried about them. And they can say, I want to submit an early alert for this student. Now, early alerts are it's a different terminology no matter where you're at. For our university and for our office, early alert means you are submitting an alert to us before the student drops the university, right? Some early alerts, it's just within those first 3 weeks that you can submit the early alert, but we let faculty members submit it anytime. And the early aspect is you're telling us early before the student drops, right? So we can do some preventative outreach before that point. So they will submit that early alert anytime throughout the semester. They can submit multiple early alerts anytime through the semester. And that's been really cool. And we're getting a lot more faculty involvement on there. And once they submit that early alert, our student success specialist will then send a text out to that student within 1 business day. So we actually reach out to that student in a really, really short amount of time. And we text them and we say, hey, your professor is concerned about you and they wanted me to check in. How are you doing in your classes? again, our university, I'm not sure what other universities do specifically, but FERPA is a thing. We all know FERPA. We try and keep our text messages really in compliance with FERPA. We don't ever send out, hey, this is your specific class that you have an early alert in, or actually you're failing this class, anything like that. So we keep it really generalized, which helps FERPA, but it also helps build that relationship and conversation with the student. So when we approach it in a way where we're not just telling the student what's going on, we start to question them. It builds more of that relationship. It builds that conversation, and we eventually the student will tell us themselves, right? Like, oh yeah, I was really struggling in math, and it's like, yep, we knew that, right? But they can self-identify those things, and eventually, if the student can't self-identify, we can give them a call and go through all those FERPA compliant rules. But texting is something we found to be really, really beneficial for our students. We don't really get a lot of responses over email. We get fewer people who want to answer their phone from a random phone number that maybe they haven't seen before. Some of them do have it saved, but phone calls and email are just not in today's generation. So texting is where it's at. We send emojis, we send text, we are personalized as possible. And that's been really beneficial for us. So we reach out to them within the one business day, and through a process of 2 weeks, we review this early alert and work with the student back and forth to see what we can do to help them. And eventually we're probably referring them to different resources across campus, right? So we try and keep ourselves, like I said, that centralized place for student success and those experts on all resources on campus, so that when these students come in with these issues, we can actually say, hey, maybe it's good for you to go to the writing center, or hey, maybe it's good for you to go and talk to the Care Hub on campus, which is a campus that will help you with some foundational needs that you have, like with housing or a food pantry there. So that's been really beneficial for us. And our early alerts that we do, we'll see a lot of students who get multiple early alerts in the semester, and any early alert that comes in multiple times, we never just send the same text out to them every time. Our initial text, like I said, is the, hey, a professor's worried about you. They wanted us to check in. How are you doing? And a lot of what we're trying to do is build that relationship with the student. So if they get another early alert and we just send that same exact text message again, after maybe a really long conversation of, hey, yeah, I'm really struggling with mental health. I'm having a hard time at home. I don't know how to get my stuff done on time. And we have this really deep conversation with the student. If the next thing we text them is, hey, I'm so-and-so, your professor's worried about you and wanted me to reach, that just ruins it, the whole relationship. And so we personalize those messages where the next text they get, they'll say, hey, I just want to check in on you. How are you doing? It looks like maybe another professor is worried about you. Have you gone to maybe these mental health resources that we talked about? Have you been able to work on your time management that we talked about? And that's really beneficial to that relationship as well. I think our whole area is just a lot of relationship building, and these students that we get into our office, these peer mentors, can build that relationship in a way that we can't. And that's been really cool. And I'm talking so much, but if some people get a little bit worried about having students be in these roles, right? If they are trained in FERPA, if they really know those areas and if they are the experts in these, they do really good. They are, like I said, those part-time employees. So we don't run into any issues with accessibility of what they can and can't access here on campus. Obviously, they're not going to access the things they don't need access to, but any employee would be in the same boat. So that's been really beneficial for us. They do have access to the Civitas learning system that we have, and they can go in, resolve those early alerts themselves, look up the students' progress in their courses, their grades. They have access to those systems. And so that's been really beneficial as well. And we have some of the best student success specialists here. And we have a program manager that oversees our student success specialists. His name's Jeff Goff. He's awesome. He's incredible. He builds up their culture in the community, and that's just an incredible team. He trains them each week on different things that they can be doing to help lessen their ghosting, is what they said. Just different activities like that really help our students be really empathetic, to help them improve their processes each week. And then each week we learn more and more about the resources around us. So another thing that we've done is, like I said, our whole Student Success Center is really just trying to be experts in everything. And we have over 90 resources here at UVU. We've got a lot of things that we are trying to pump out for students. It's really cool. We're a really big university, and it's really great that we can provide all the things that we can provide, but it can become overwhelming and a little hard to find the specific resource that you need. So again, a great reason why we have this centralized place that they can come to, but also for us to be experts in all of those areas, that's a lot. And we don't have time. Even if we use every hour of our week, we wouldn't have enough hours in the week for every resource to just come in and update us on what's going on. So what we've done is we actually have 3 full-time members in our office who are dedicated liaisons to other resources throughout campus. And they have a specific list that they meet with these resources once a month about any updates they have in their area, any events going on, anything that we should know, and the best way to refer their resource to students. And then they bring it back to us in our Friday meetings. So those 3 liaisons every Friday will come and report back to our team and say, hey, these are the updates we heard from the resources around campus. These are some things that we should know. We put their events on our event calendar so we can just pull it up easily, so we can continue to be those experts of all things happening around us without it taking up all that time of having them come in every single week. We do have these resources come in and talk to us probably about once a semester to just stay up to date and have them be able to share in depth with us what's going on. But that's been really beneficial, as well as just having those liaison and those partnerships that Ryan talked about, where we can continuously stay in touch with these resources across campus, because everyone is evolving, everyone's changing, and everyone's just building up. And so if we can stay on track and stay in the know of what's going on, that's really helpful for us as well. And it gets our name out. We want more referrals coming our way so we can help you and help those students. Yeah, we have, like I said, we have those student success specialists. Early alerts are not the only outreach that they do. They actually do a lot of other campaigns throughout the year. So if there's students who have not logged into that learning management system within the first 3 weeks before the last day to drop, our specialists will actually text out all those students who have never logged in and said, hey, are you aware you're registered for this class? And a lot of students, you'd be surprised, that are like, oh no, I forgot to withdraw from the class. Like, I don't want to get charged. So but we have some outreach that goes out like that. We find some of those different spaces. We welcome all new students to campus and say, hey, we're the student success specialists. This is the Student Success Center. Anytime throughout your time here at UVU, reach out to us if you need help. We do check-ins mid-semester to those first-year students, like, hey, it's your first semester. How are things going? We do a lot of different outreach campaigns with those specialists, and they really have a touch point with almost all students at the university, whether they're first year, second year, graduate, whatever it is. If you're coming through our space in early alerts or in those low LMS, we really are going to be reaching out to all kinds of students on campus, and our specialists are awesome. We split up who they reach out to based on their student's last name. So some of our specialists, they only reach out to students with the last name of A and B, or starting with A and B, which helps, again, that relationship. So anytime we're sending out messages, they're always texting the same students. And anytime those students are texting in, they're always getting a response from the same specialist who understands them, understands their circumstance, and feels like a relationship, not just talking to a robot. One student I saw at a graduation, and we chatted for a little bit and we were talking, and they said, wait, you oversee the Student Success Center? And I said, yeah. And they said, I love my student success specialist, Manette. And I was like, oh, awesome. I'm glad. She's like, Manette helped me graduate today. And I was like, awesome. And then she pulled her phone out and showed me that she had Manette saved in her contact with our student success specialist phone number, an office phone number that we share out with everybody. But we had been able to make that communication so personalized that this student thought this was Manette's cell phone number and had it saved under Manette's name and everything. And she just thought she was texting Manette back and forth. And so that was a really cool thing, is just a testament to building those relationships that really helped that student graduate, which was awesome and is pretty cool. Yeah, we've got, I could talk for days. If there's specific that's student success specialists, we have some student success coordinators, we got leave of absence, all those things. I don't know, Ryan, if there's other things you want to talk about before I just keep blabbering, but I've got so much to talk about.
I do want to draw out some themes that you're sharing, because I think it's really, really remarkable, the work that your students are doing. And I know, as a person who used to manage student workers, they can be transient when you're dealing with something like work study, but making it a professional position. And you're, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are usually like upper class students or students who are recently graduated. So they're students that have some
Correct.
wisdom and experience under their belt
Yeah.
who are filling those roles.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you are not just creating a work study job, you're creating a job, a chance, a career path to go into student success, which I think is really cool. And then also like really providing them with training and supervision and management. And they're in a position where there's continuity so that they are able to build that relationship with the student and be there and are trained and have the tools that they need to really be able to be that guide for the student through the process. And they also know like when to, like you're saying, what's the dental hygienist piece of the role and when do you need to bring in the dentist as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And I mean, to your point, Katie, I think we do get quite a few folks that come into this job saying, yeah, higher ed, student success is somewhere I want to be. This is a place where either I have a previous good experience, maybe I had a friend that worked here. But yeah, we get folks that want to be in advising or other areas that come through all the time. And so I think getting those right students with the right mindset of why they're there is important. And then Jamie mentioned this, but having a solid program with a solid leader like Jeff, he does everything quote unquote by the books, but there's like some extra the way that he does it, right? The way that he treats that group. And I'm a few steps away from them in the reporting line, so sometimes I'll hear something and be like, "Oh yeah, let's just move on." And he's a lot more dedicated and says, "No, no, no, like that's a blip. Like there's so much potential there," and really works with them on that. And he's the specialist of the specialists, if you will. And um, yeah, we're lucky to have him. So doing all the things right is right and great, but when you luck out and have the right people in all those positions, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it seems like I had an opportunity to talk with Jeff, and it seems like he's incredibly committed to the professional development of these young professionals and making sure that they are doing the highest level of work that they can do and helping them learn how to be really successful. I think that it's remarkable the work that you're doing. I think it's remarkable the work that students are doing, and it makes so much sense that students would respond to another student through text. I love the story of Minette and how Minette helped that student reach their goals, and that you were able to see that. Those were always my favorite moments when I worked in higher ed, is when a student came and talked to you at the end and said, here's what I was able to achieve and you helped me get there. And those are, you don't always get them, but they are they are so worth it. And you normally only get to impact a small piece of the experience. And so when you get that kind of thank you, it's like, oh, I'm warm and fuzzy
It's
for you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
so awesome.
and I would bet a lot that there's tons more of those that just never get shared. Um, whether it's others with Manette or some of our other specialists. I mean, I think all of them have had those moments that they just don't get the opportunity to be like. Luckily, they ran into Jamie that day. Um, and so I think that's more normal for our folks than just like a flash in the pan type thing. Like I said, I think they just don't always hear it. And I think anyone listening to this that works in higher ed is probably being like, yeah, Ryan, that's every position. And that is true. Um, but yeah, that group does good work. We just gotta brag about them in front of our whole division. And they're doing some really cool things. And again, I think the biggest um secret sauce or secret recipe that you'd say is that focus on relationships. And you get the right people that do it the right way, you can see big
Yeah.
trends and big gains, and we've seen them here at UVU. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you gave me like such a beautiful segue to giving you an opportunity to do a little bit of bragging. So I'd love to hear like what kind of impact for students at UVU these programs are having.
yeah, so recently, the last 2 years, including this year, we just kind of got some finalized numbers. We've seen positive trends in retention at institutional highs. So last year was 70. We just were able to report a 3% bump for 73%. So that's a team effort. I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, it's no one else, but we do know the work that we do directly impacts that. We are working with our IPEDS cohort directly. So I know that's a big thing, but we've seen enrollment continue and continuing to grow. And some of the biggest gains we're seeing in enrollment gains are our continuing students. And again, this is the folks that Jamie's team is working with. We've also seen a rise in returning students, and that's a population that our group works with through some of these campaigns. So when we look at numbers, there's some great gains. And I think for me as a softie and my feels win most of the time. We get those anecdotal stories where we're seeing students who thought they had no chance come back, or and Jamie, you can speak to some of those. I know you've probably know more of those, but we, like I said, we're making a difference. We're doing our job here in the cog of UVU, and we're seeing the success for it, which is cool.
I should have probably asked this question earlier in our conversation, but when did this student appear? What do you call them? Student support specialist?
Student success specialist.
Student success specialist. When did that initiative start? And I know sometimes these things like start as a pilot and then they scale and grow over time, but how long have you been working on this approach?
Yeah. So when this first was born, it was actually called Retention Mentors. It started in 2012, and that's our office was a different name and everything, but that's when it started there, and it's really evolved. The biggest change that we had was they were called Student Success Specialists a few years ago, around 2020. And then recently, our office title just barely changed to that main Student Success Center. And so that's really brought a lot of emphasis to those Student Success Specialists and the different programs that we've really ramped up since then. So our office, really, the Student Success half started with those retention mentors in 2012, and it's evolved ever since. And I would say it's just seeing exponential strides at the moment. And our Student Success Center was retitled in July. So it's just been July until now that we've seen that. But we've had a lot of students really come to the Student Success Center now. And on behalf of our leadership, they've been really good of telling everybody about this is a Student Success Center. Yeah, it's been around before. We were called the First Year Experience in Student Retention Office. We realized no students even know what that means. We revamped it, has a few more programs and things that we brought into it. And now Student Success Center is a lot more welcoming to students and kind of goes hand in hand with those student success specialists that we have here. So yeah, 2012 is when it first started. And then 2020 is when we changed to Student Success Specialists. And now we're just continuing to evolve.
Yeah. And I'm sure you weren't texting in 2012.
No, yeah, we've gone through many different platforms as well, and emails and lots of different things.
Yeah. To be fair, we can't speak to it because neither of us are here, but I doubt there were the programs back then. But I think, this program has adapted and built, and then, some of our predecessors made some of the steps there. And then again, I think we've tried to evolve it. Getting the program manager to directly oversee that group was huge. And it's been able to expand outreach, and to their credit too, I think we evaluate the things that they're doing in the campaigns, and are they still working, or is it just something we are doing because we did it in 2012 or anywhere in between. And so I think always paying attention to your students and what they're responding to is something that we try to do as well.
And with Jeff, some of what we do with these specialists, and I won't say we do it, Jeff does it really, is he brings them in every week to be able to come into this think tank, is what he calls it. Bring your ideas. Let's try and improve this one aspect of our roles here. And they are able to really evolve and just create something awesome with all of those students' minds. And it helps all of our student success specialists feel like they've got a piece of the pie, right? Like they've got their hand in everywhere, and they have they're way more willing to do it because they are bringing these ideas themselves, and they don't just feel like someone's telling them to do it. But it's really cool to bring that together. I think right now they're actually working on a cart that's going to go around for finals that's going to provide students with just little packages of like wellness packages from all the resources on campus and their swag, and they're going to call it Success on the Go. And that was made like last week, and they're just going for it, and they've been really building it up. And it's cool that they all have they're all on board to be able to just evolve it, because we have such a cool way that Jeff's been doing the program.
And they bring such cool, fresh, interesting ideas that we don't think about, right? To help actually be student centered, like the success on the go. That's so cool. I love that
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And energy, because I think,
Yeah.
again, the other thing I'll say, anyone who works in higher ed, it's a repetitive game, and the years cycle, and sometimes it's easy to get stuck in like, hey, another fall and another welcome week and another. And I think they bring that energy. I did stop by on the way down and ask them about the cart. And I said, "Oh, is it Success on the Go?" And they said that that's not the official name yet. It might be. But
It's a working title, my bad.
Success Express was also mentioned. And I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty ingenious too.
That's pretty good. Well, we've talked about so many things. I want to give you a chance if there's something that you wanted to share that we didn't get a chance to cover, give you an opportunity to do that.
I have a few programs I'll probably mention, maybe just one or two things actually, but we just barely started, like I said, those student success coordinators. So these are full-time success coaches basically that are helping students. And we've got 3 of them and we split them up to help with different populations. One's returning student, one's kind of those underclassmen, freshmen, sophomore, and one's juniors and seniors. And we again are just barely starting this outreach, but some of the outreach we've done for these juniors and seniors has actually proven to be really beneficial for a population of students that thinks they already know everything related to the university and would have never reached out to us first. But as we're reaching out to them, they're like, oh, I actually am really struggling with these things. Do you have anything? I didn't think UVU had anything to help me with this. And we're able to provide some of that outreach there, which has been really cool, really exciting to see where that'll take us. But that upperclassmen, I think, is a space that we haven't really touched too much before, and we're excited to really start implementing more things with, because I think it's a population that still needs support, even if they are involved in other areas, and they just don't even know that they need support. So it's kind of almost that freshman where the freshman just doesn't know what to ask, but the juniors and seniors already think they know everything, and so they don't ask. But there are a lot of things still available to them. So that's been really exciting. We've also done some outreach. We call it our Some College No Degree. We have quite a lot of students who start their degree at UVU and just stop out. They just leave and they don't have any certificates or a degree of any sort from our university. And so we actually went back the last 10 years to find all those students who had 40 plus credits from our university and didn't have a degree or certificate from us or anybody else. We sent it through to double check on that. And we had a list of 16,000 students that had 40 plus credits that just didn't have any type of certificate or degree. And so we reached out to all of them and provided them with some contacts and maybe some new things we had at UVU if they were interested in coming back. And a lot of these people started reaching out saying, yeah, actually, I've been thinking about coming back to UVU, and this is really ideal that you're texting me now. What can I do? And because of our partnerships around campus with, like Ryan said, admissions, with financial aid and the registrar's office, we were able to really enhance the time it took we minimized the time it took for them to come back and really enhance that process. So we were able to just get them back, remove a lot of those barriers for them. And I think we had about 600 to 700 students return from that outreach. And so again, one of our student success coordinators is reaching out to returning students to talk to them about like, hey, this is the reason you left the first time. Let's actually review that and help you get to the right resources you need so that doesn't happen again. So a lot of that role is going to be because of this Some College No Degree outreach we did and getting all those students back to UVU, because we don't just want to bring them back and have them experience the same thing, but we want to bring them back and provide them the opportunities to succeed this go around. So those are 2 things that I wanted to point out that I think have been really exciting right now.
Yeah, and I think we often front load a lot of the support, and I think it's with good reason. But there are other populations that might be a little bit further along in their journey who need help too. We did an analysis, and there's quite a few students who are very close to graduation who don't complete. Like there's definitely opportunity to help people just get across the line, make sure that they get across the line. Simple things like making sure they get those last couple of classes when they're a continuing student, or if they leave and they are almost there, encouraging them to come back and finish. It's really interesting how many students have 75%, 90% of their degree completed, and then that's all they get. Yeah.
Well, we even found some students who had more than 120 credits with us, but still no degree. I think some of them have like 130, 140 credits. We're like, somehow, some way, we should be able to provide you with something out of the credits you've received through us. Let's give you some degree to help you along your journey. So yeah.
Yeah, that's remarkable too, is that finding what they have in there, what they've earned. Yeah, cutting out some of that bureaucracy. Well, thank you both so much for your time, Ryan, Jamie. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I love hearing about what you're doing to help students. Thank you so much for coming on Next Practices.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having us. Higher ed is a great place to work. If you're ever in the judge of it, just remember it's good work. Keep it up. You're making a difference.
You really are. You're
Yeah.
really making a difference.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. I will say a lot of our work, I keep talking, but we're not the only ones involved. Our whole university is really awesome, and our partnerships are really key in why we can do the great work that we do. So appreciate all of them, but also love working in higher ed and here at UVU. So thanks for having us.
Yep, higher ed is a team sport. It's multifaceted. It takes a lot of touch points and a lot of different effort to help students get the outcomes that we want to see in our students. And so thank you so much for sharing this piece of the work that you're doing at UVU. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Katie.